4K gaming is definitely getting more and more popular, with consoles like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X bringing the price down to more of a mainstream level, and then of course PC gaming with more and more powerful graphics cards showing that it doesn't matter what settings you want to use, there is something that can handle it. But in all of this, you're going to need a monitor to actually display that lovely 4K image. And AOC have now released this, the AGON AG271UG, a G-Sync monitor with a resolution of 3840 by 2160 and an IPS panel. Now design-wise, I have to say I do like what AGON are doing here, as it's a very clean looking thing. And the stand is amazing in the sense that while it doesn't look like it will move, it has all of the adjustments you would ever need with things like pivot, height adjust, tilt and swivel, but it does so in a way that just looks really attractive and very premium looking, shall we say. In terms of the cables themselves though, to plug this thing in, you've got DisplayPort and HDMI. DisplayPort is going to be used for the G-Sync tech, and you're going to want to plug this into a PC, and then you've got a HDMI cable for your console or any other device. The problem is though that this is sadly only HDMI 1.4, which frankly on a monitor like this in this day and age is pretty unacceptable. I'm not sure whether this is AOC's fault, as it does use obviously G-Sync, which is a little bit restrictive in what ports you can use. But regardless, as someone that would want to use this with a PS4 Pro or Xbox One X, I can't, and then as such, I would be limited to 1080p output. The menu system is controlled with physical buttons on the front right hand side of the display, and they're easy enough to use. I mean, I like physical buttons, but the menu system looks really dated and it's just not really fitting for such a high-end monitor, with rivals like LG and Asus doing a significantly better job of having something that's easy to use while still being very clearly laid out. But the whole proof of the pudding really with a product like this is with image quality, as you're going to be staring at this for a very long time. And ultimately in that department I've got very few complaints indeed. The panel is IPS, which gives you great colour accuracy, and in terms of like pop and just the way everything looks on screen, it's really nicely balanced. It doesn't look too over the top in its default configuration, and with a little bit of tuning I'm sure you can get it just the way you sort of want it. I use this for 4K video editing, and it's great for that, as I can accurately sort of see the colours on screen so that when I do my grading I know how it's going to look out the other side. And this is something that gaming monitors normally aren't very good at, as if you went for a TN panel I would never dream of using that in sort of colour critical applications. And of course in terms of general use, because everything is so sharp, thanks to that 4K resolution, it's going to just be a more pleasurable experience for you, providing you're sort of using applications that can scale properly, as there are still a couple of issues with applications that will display a little bit weird, but to be honest it's not really something that's affected me at all, whereas it definitely did a few years ago. But gaming is of course the name of the game really. Name of the game? Is that the right phrase? Having said all of this though, this is definitely a monitor that's aimed at gamers, and gamers that have a Team Green graphics card. So if you've got an NVIDIA GeForce card with a decent amount of horsepower, you're going to be able to take full advantage of this monitor and its G-Sync technology. But in terms of gaming performance, it's a little bit of a weird one with these 4K monitors, because they are only 60 Hz, which isn't quite so good in first-person games, but because you've got that added resolution, it's going to sort of make up for it in others. And really interestingly, the game that I've been playing the most on this monitor is Destiny 2, and this is a game that is both competitive and then sort of more story driven, and it depends on the game mode you're playing as to how satisfied I've been with it. In terms of responsiveness, it's been excellent, with Destiny 2 proving in the Crucible that I can manage to put a decent performance in and get a decent kill to death ratio. But the problem is it doesn't really feel as nice as it would on a faster monitor. So something with a 144 or above refresh rate, in my opinion, for first person shooters is a lot nicer. But if I'm more playing a bit casually, then actually the visuals make up for it, as it's a great experience, and especially if you can drive it at that native resolution, everything looks substantially better than even a 1440p monitor would do, and once you've got used to it, it is quite difficult to go back. Perhaps a more interesting title though is actually PUBG, Battlegrounds. And the reason for this is because it's a little bit different to a lot of other competitive shooters, in the sense that while I definitely prefer to use a faster refresh rate monitor in close firefights when you're anticipating where the enemy's going to be and slowly moving around corners, but when you're in the more wide open areas, having that 4K resolution is actually a godsend, as you can really clearly see far away. You can put your face right up to the screen, and as soon as you see a bit of movement, it could earn you that chicken dinner. In terms of what I would prefer outright, I probably still would lean towards a faster monitor, but a 4K monitor is definitely not a bad shout, especially for someone like myself that does a lot of content creation on the side, because it's not necessarily detrimental to my gameplay experience. It's just there's something that is a little bit better for me out there. But yeah, that's pretty much, I think, everything I have to say about the monitor. In conclusion, I really like it. It's going to be great for you if you want a 4K monitor. It's a very good 4K monitor. And if you are after something for content creation and gaming, then this is definitely a very good choice. The main problem I have with it though is just how restrictive it is in terms of ports. There's only 2, and that HDMI is 1.4, which for me is a deal breaker, but I'm sure a lot of PC gamers that want a G-Sync display won't mind that much about this, but it will of course depend on your personal situation. And while I do like the stand and the design, cable management isn't great, and it doesn't quite look as premium as some of its competition, but there's not really that much to complain about other than that, because the raw image quality is excellent, which is why overall this wins the Silver Award. Yes, that's right, new awards, because the old ones looked a bit ridiculous, didn't they? If you do want to learn more about the guy that made these awards though, and check out his awesome channel, it's Silence Tech, and I'll leave a link to his channel in the description and in the little card in the top right hand corner as well. Thank you, Mark, very much appreciate your free labour. Regardless, a massive thank you to you guys for checking out this video though, to AOC for loaning out this review sample as always. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm really trying to hit 100,000 subscribers, so it'd be awesome if you get subscribed if you're not already, and join the elite. Regardless, thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.